I'm from Colleen Lopez. We know her as not only a great host here at HSN, but she's also a jewelry fashionista, and she has her own jewelry line here at the network. And this is a turquoise, amethyst, and blue topaz ring, and it's quite stunning. I think what makes this ring extra special is the fact that it is a very unique color combination. So you have a very large turquoise cabochon in the center. This is a deeper blue. It's deep, it's very rich looking in that blue. And then surrounding it, she has this juxtaposition from doing a semi-precious stone, which is transparent, to that opaque stone in the center. So it's a really wonderful contrast of textures and colors and brightness and clarity, quite frankly. So the total carat weight is 2.56 carats. That's the amethyst and the blue topaz only. Your blue turquoise is a 20 by 15 millimeter cabochon, which is lovely. And then what you have is a series of your oval blue topaz. When you see it up close, are ovals, and the amethyst is actually pear-shaped. We also have sizes 6 through 11 on this ring. And it's a large ring, just the dimensions itself. So if you like a bigger ring, and that's such a great shot, thanks guys. You can see, isn't that interesting? So you have the oval blue topaz that are really caressing the side of that turquoise. And then isn't it cool how the pear-shaped amethyst have been just tilted a little bit? It's almost like a wreath when you think about it, and it really highlights that stunning turquoise in the center. By the way, the turquoise is from China. We actually are finding more and more turquoise in China. You know, it's obviously been a closed country for a long time, and they're finding additional deposits in China of really quite stunning turquoise. And that's lovely, you know, that's nice to see more sources of it. Here in the US, not so true. We've actually run out of active mining companies who are actively daily with big, you know, kind of big, serious mining. There's very few left in the US. There will be some people who do it seasonally. They'll have some buckets here or there. A lot of the turquoise you're seeing that Jay uses actually are from stashes. So he's out tooling around and he runs into somebody who knows somebody, or he knows them, and will buy up what they have simply because US-based mining for turquoise is really rather limited. So it's kind of nice that we have more sources for turquoise coming. There's not a lot, but yeah, China actually is one of the newer sources for finding and being able to get a hold of great turquoise. So again, we're down to $89.90. That is $50 off and an appraised value of almost $230.